Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chumash Casino Resort here in Santa Ynez, California for Showbox, the new generation. Presented by Gary Shaw Productions in association with the Santa Ynez Band of Chumash Indians and Showtime. Tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. The executive officer is Armando Garcia. Supervisor is Dean Loheis. Our physicians at ringside are Dr. Blair Cranston and Dr. Diego Allende. Our timekeepers this evening will be Red Bailey and Karina Ayonayan. The three judges scoring this bout will be Jerry Cantu, Max DeLuca, and Lou Filippo. And your referee in charge is Jack Reese. Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, he'll be fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing green trimmed in yellow, and he weighed in at 136 pounds. His professional record stands at 15 victories with only 4 defeats, 7 big wins by knockout. Originally from Perm, Russia, he now lives and fights out of Los Angeles, California. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Rustam Nugaev. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the gold trunks and he weighed in at 138 1/4 pounds. He has a perfect professional record, 15 bouts, 15 victories with no defeats, including 10 wins by knockout. From Denver, Colorado, ladies and gentlemen, here is Anthony the Matrix Mora.
All right, fellas, right here is good. Again, listen, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch him up. Good luck to both of you.
Talk a little bit about that as Anthony Mora, the weight issue loomed for him in the past 24 hours. He's in yellow. Will it affect him? Rustam Nugaev, a versatile fighter. He's in green, able to put pressure on, able to sit back and box. Mora, unusually tall, 6 feet even, Steve, at 135.
Yeah, you know, Nugaev, you can see he's 5'10". That's fairly tall. That's certainly taller than the average lightweight. And I asked Nugaev, have you ever fought an opponent 6 foot tall? Predictably, the answer was no.
Nugaev starting to stick the jab, but let's talk about Mora again. He had trouble making weight yesterday. In fact, didn't make it. Tortured himself at the 11th hour to try and make the weight. And the issue, Steve, is it doesn't necessarily make him susceptible to brain injury or anything, but it affects all his other physical systems when you have to dehydrate and rehydrate that quickly. Reflexes, strength, will watch his balance, his coordination, even his judgment.
Now you see that at 10 a.m. this morning, Mora made the weight that was agreed upon by the other side. He was 144. From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., he only put on 2 more pounds. To me, that's a good sign that he's not 160 in there.
Boy, Nugaev been close, but he's just not busy enough, and he got clipped with a little right hand from Mora. But Mora now clinching. He wants to create some distance. He really doesn't want to be on the inside much, Steve, but he's got the jab. He should be able to stand tall and control Nugaev pretty well. Control range from outside. Uppercut from out of nowhere.
Dangerous.
Always a bad idea, isn't it?
Yeah, that looked amateurish. He was flailing. The thing about Mora, Nick, style-wise, he's very tall. If he's moving forward or moving back, he's okay with distance. When he's on the inside, he's useless. That's where Nugaev should be, but I don't know if that's Nugaev's style.
Here comes Nugaev in front, and Nugaev in front.
Go, fight out
Not much on any of those shots inside from him. I was encouraged by the fact, Steve, in his 4 fights in America, he's dropped every one of the opponents, and these guys were no stiffs by any means. Collectively winning 65 of 79 fights. He won 3 of those 4, but he's not exhibiting any real power here, and his left hand looks dangerously low, Nugaev. But Mora not looking especially quick and hesitant to pull the trigger as they feel each other out here with a half minute to go in the first.
Well, getting back to that graphic, you may say, why did we make such a big deal of the weight? Because right now, as of 5 p.m. tonight, Nugaev was heavier. But Nugaev didn't kill himself to make weight yesterday. And Mora looked dreadful when we saw him struggle to make weight.
Well, California here, they're doing a weight study, pre and post weights, to help monitor and evaluate the effects of significant swings in weight on the performance of fighters. And we'll see about Anthony Mora here, how much gas he has, what he's really made of as we complete the first. And earlier, Steve, you talked to Mora, who again really had to squeeze the lemon dry at the 11th hour to try and make weight. The organs, the cells, it doesn't make you stronger and fitter, no matter how much you blow up. And it could be debilitating. Once again, we'll find out. Nugaev, though, definitely was cautious and tentative in the first round, as he's allowed to be, Steve, and really sees what Mora has. Mora leaning back now, not using his height to any advantage, putting some moves on. Nugaev does not close in and put any pressure on him.
Yeah, I didn't think either guy looked very good in the first round, Nick, but I gave it to Nugaev. There's that right uppercut. That's so dangerous because you leave yourself wide open for a counter shot. But Mora likes it. It's his best punch.
Nugaev sort of rolling with those shots. Mora, a lot of arm punching, as you said, not very impressive. He was warming up with a lot of authority on his shots, but nothing, of course, was coming back at the time. And Nugaev not really putting together any heavy-duty attack, but he is pressing forward and backing up the taller Anthony Mora. Mora undefeated, but he's really got to find out what he's made of, Steve. Let's face it. He wants to know if he can rally, if he can deal with any kind of adversity. He's been in with soft opponents, and he hasn't been very busy. Nice right hand from Nugaev there, but he doesn't follow.
You see Nugaev with a lot more rounds. That's really because Mora's opponents have been at a low level, and he scored a lot of quickie knockouts and a lot of shorter scheduled fights.
Stop. Step away.
Mora in the yellow. He's the taller guy. Nugaev all over him, but then backing off and trying to reload. Lead right hand from Mora, again looking amateurish.
Yeah, his right hand is low. He overuses it. And you know what? If Nugaev could time one of those right uppercuts, which come from too far away, Nugaev's best punch is his left hook. That would be what I'd be looking for if I were Nugaev's trainer.
Nugaev, a little bit of crossover defense there. He eludes a right hand from Mora. So Mora failing to work behind the jab in any way. Little clipping roundhouse baby hooks from Nugaev with nothing on him. Nugaev again with punches, not crisp, not straight down the middle. Both guys susceptible, both open for counters.
Yeah, fighters with Mora's kind of build.
Let him go, let him go.
80–90% of their punches very often look like arm punches. They look sloppy, but he does have leverage. You said you saw him, punching the mitts backstage. All it takes is one shot for a guy like this. Now, he may never get that shot off. It may not land properly, but he is dangerous because of that leverage.
Step out. Don't wrestle.
This is scheduled for 10. They're lightweights. Anthony Mora has been 8 just once in his most recent fight a little over a month ago. As we close the second out here in Santa Ynez, California.
Rustam, walk more in the corpus, Rustam. Corpus. Jab, take stepping jab, jab, up, down, no right, okay? In pressure with the jab, jab, jab. No throw hard. Busy, stay busy. When you step more close, hard on the body. And over right. Okay?
Action from round 2. Mora overusing that right uppercut. He likes to lead with it. I think an uppercut should be used more judiciously, especially from the outside. Later in the round, Nugaev, he had the right idea with that left hook, but he was a little too close or too wide with it, and it went around Nugaev's neck.
Manuel Robles Sr., Nugaev's trainer, wants him basically to double jab, right hand to the body. I want to see a lot crisper shots from both guys, Steve. Nobody looks sharp. They've completed 2, scheduled for 10. The Russian Rustam Nugaev, who's relocated to the Los Angeles area, he's in the green. Anthony Mora undefeated, almost totally untested though.
Yeah, you mentioned yesterday that when we spoke to him, Mora said, you know, he wants to prove to himself that he can handle adversity, the better opponents. He said he wasn't sure, he has to do it. Well, you know what, wrong answer. If you're an undefeated fighter, I want to hear you say, hey, I don't care who he's fought, I can beat anybody. And that was not the attitude he had. And we've dealt with enough prospects over the years, Nick, to know that the better ones are the ones who think they're invincible.
Right. Mora still looking tentative. Is he just reading the guy off? You can't really take him to task. It is only the third round.
I can't make an excuse for him because the fight's been fought at the distance he wants. You see him backing up, and he's still really not controlling the flow of the fight. Nugaev is.
Nugaev gets a couple of left hooks in, but nothing with any conviction, and Mora hanging on. There's the uppercut, and he almost got hit with that counter, which is classic.
Yeah, I think he did get hit with it. That's what we were talking about, that left hook when Mora throws the right uppercut.
Glaring mistake from Mora. And his trainer, we'll see if George Durbin, veteran trainer, would correct something as glaring as that. Mora, again, I think little arm shots there.
Well, that's why when you fight weak opposition, you get away with things and you make mistakes that you can't make against better fighters. He'd get away with that right uppercut against weak opposition because the fighters aren't quick enough or skilled enough to counter.
Well, I think it's inexcusable right now that Mora's not keeping Nugaev off and working behind a jab a lot better than he is. Nugaev snuck in a lead right hand against him and just jumped in with it. So Mora's defense really consists of just backing off a little bit and not being very elusive. And the shorter 5'10" Nugaev has landed more of the shot so far. Winding down the third. Left uppercut from Mora. He whiffs with it.
Mora's at least sticking the jab out there. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage.
Boy, very little on his shots though again. Nugaev leaps in with a left, comes back, cracks with a hook to the body. That hook was partially blocked by Mora. Now Mora moving, he's up on his toes. Trying to control range here, failing to pull the trigger. He's back against the ropes though, and Nugaev backs off. Tomorrow night, Showtime Boxing continues its 20th anniversary with a super middleweight showdown. Steve, you got to give it to Lacey. You go where the money is, of course, but he's going to this guy's backyard as you look at the replay.
Yeah, you saw that Mora right uppercut, and Nugaev, just as we said he should do, countered with the left hand. You know, he's getting a read on his man now after 2-3 rounds, and he's being more aggressive. He looks stronger.
Get the spit bucket down,
Nugaev,
please.
it looks pretty obvious. His corner told him, pick it up and put a little bit more pressure on. He's come out with a little bit more heat in this round. Trying to close the gap. Mora waiting to counterpunch there off the ropes.
Not much power on Mora's shots, Nick. One of the reasons he squared up.
And now he's getting clipped with lefts and rights, and Mora, instead of spinning off the ropes, continues to soak up unnecessary punishment.
Well, you might notice Nugaev's punching almost solely to the head. The reason for that, most of the time, Mora's hands have been low. He can't resist.
Well, he's cornered Mora. As Mora's legs, are they deserting him? You know, you got to wonder right now. Again, the weight issue. Not that he was a tremendous mover. But trying to make weight may have taken the zip out of his legs. And maybe out of his tank here in the fourth. He gets clocked with an overhand right from Nugaev. Nugaev, you're right, Steve, has not gone to the body once. And now we see Mora resetting middle of the ring where he should be, trying to control distance and work off that jab.
You know, Mora slipped a lot of those shots on the ropes, but it's still a bad idea to be there. He could have held, he didn't. And you know what? It's almost impossible now for him to win the round, even if he slipped most of those shots, because the judges remember that lengthy period where he was trapped, and even if Nugaev landed, hey, 3-4 clean shots, that's enough.
Well, personally, I think Mora's falling dangerously behind early. He hasn't done much to impress me, and maybe not the judges. Do you have him winning a round, Steve?
Well, I thought the second round was pretty close. Clearly, Nugaev won the first and the third, and Nugaev won big.
And arguably winning this one handily. Now Nugaev, middle of the ring, not doing much, trying to read and react to Mora. Mora just comes in, no man's land, not punching. Now his hands are down. Nugaev really doesn't drill the jab at all, does he? Those little looping left hands to sort of wade his way in. Mora, to his credit, at least standing tall, fighting tall, and not making himself as an inviting a target.
Well, Nick, that's exactly why I think this is such a disappointing performance for Mora thus far.
Watch stage, all right?
And that's because the fight's been fought at the distance he wants, and he's still losing.
Well, it's a big fourth round from Nugaev as he picks it up just before the close.
Stop.
I'll tell you, Mora doesn't look like he wants to be in there right now, Steve, to me.
Sit down. Sit down. Deep breath. Listen to me. Listen to me. Deep breath. Deep breath. Get out there. You gotta get up.
Action from round 4. Up until this point, Mora was holding when Nugaev got close. He's not holding here. He could have held at any point here. Instead, he's determined to show that he can slip and slide and block some of these shots. And he does slip and slide and block some of the shots. But you know what? Some of the shots land, too. Later in the round, now look how tall Mora is. There's a big overhand right. He's not that tall that he can stop that overhand right. Big round in round 4 for Nugaev.
That's Steve even more telling the words in this corner. George Durbin talking to Mora, and Mora saying, I feel a little weak. He looks a lot weak to me. And again, we can't emphasize enough that he had struggled mightily and failed to make weight.
Hey, Nick, you remember yesterday when we came in here for the fighter meetings, we saw him smothered in his own sweat. He was checking his weight out. He proceeded to not make the weight. And when we interviewed him, he was animated. He had energy. But his eyes were sunken.
Steve, he looked like a different guy an hour later.
Yeah, and I don't care. I'm not a doctor, although I occasionally play one on TV. But you can't recover that fast. I'm sorry. He's weak now, and I'm not surprised.
So, Steve, if you've given Mora a round, how do you have it after 4?
I got a 39-37. I did give Mora the second round. I don't know why, but I did. And the guy won everything else.
Mora with a double jab, right hand out of nowhere. Not looking sharp at all. Nugaev just shaking everything off, but not mounting the kind of pressure I think he should. Just force Mora to fight here, because Mora doesn't look like he wants to, unless he's totally laying in the woods, which I don't believe he is. Mora trying to pick it up. Nugaev isn't there as he just steps back. With no jab. Nice return, though. He returned fire with that left hand, and Mora's hands are down, and he's backing up against the ropes. Like that left hand was something from Joe Frazier.
Yeah.
Mora doesn't want to fight to me, Steve.
Yeah, I can't argue with you. Now, guys, taking his time. All he has to do is shorten up the shots. Maybe punch to the body a little bit.
Come on, Anthony.
And Jack Reese, the referee, telling Anthony, come on, you better pick it up.
Stop, stop. Separate, watch your head, watch the head.
Well, I think you called it, Nick. I think Mora's spirit is broken.
Mora trying to put some punches together, but there's nothing on him. The guy up with a big right hand, and big being relative. He is not a hellacious puncher, but he's obviously landed the harder shots because Mora's landed virtually nothing.
And don't forget, the commission is aware of Mora's problems with weight. Jack Reese, the referee, they're not going to let this go as long as they might had he made weight comfortable.
Exactly.
Nor should they.
And Reese watching very closely now. And Mora looking at the referee here. He may call it quickly. And Reese taking a very strong look.
Step back. Are you okay? You done? You done? Okay, hold on. Time out. Time out. Doc, come in. Go to the corner.
Referee or doctor can stop the fight.
It's all right. You do what you... I understand. Just stay here. He's done. He said he's done.
Yeah, he's done. That's what's shaking my head. He's done.
He said he's okay.
And it is complete.
I'm okay.
Relax.
I'm all right. If I get tired, that's all.
He ran out of juice, Steve. He's getting tired, as he said. And Steve, what I'm grateful for, he finished on his feet with his senses intact, because this could have been a dangerous situation for him.
He surrendered. He said, I'm okay, I'm not hurt, but I'm tired. And Jack Reese, you heard him say, he's done. He said he's done. So it was a surrender.
I got to tell you, if he was in against a tremendous puncher, this could have been an awful night for him.
That's a good point.
First loss for Anthony Mora. He falls to 15-1. And he had to not like what he saw in himself tonight, but he didn't put himself in position to succeed, and that's the reason he's lost for the first time in his career. And Rustam Nugaev has now won 4 of 5 since coming to the United States from Perm, Russia. Biggest purse in Russia, Steve, was $1,000. Most of his fights he fought for 100, and here's how it ended.
Yeah, you see how wide open Mora is? He doesn't really tuck his chin in very well. And you know, when you're a 6-foot lightweight, I don't know, there's just something about it. You look so awkward and gangly, and when you get hit, it looks worse. And then toward the end of the round, that shot, I think, you know, Mora's hands are down. And there, right there, you saw, I sound like Howard Cosell, right there. And you saw him look to Jack Reese. When a fighter looks to a referee after he gets hit, that's a silent way of saying, I need help.
And happily, Reese gave it to him.
Yeah, no, Jack Reese did a good job. He was smart to call the doctor, and he didn't have to. He could have stopped the fight himself. He did the right thing, and Mora helped him. It's tough. It's tough for a fighter. They're proud. Mora's never lost before. Only been down once in his career. It's tough to surrender, but his spirit was broken early. Maybe his spirit was broken before he even got in the ring because of his struggles to make weight.
And there's the happy winner, Rustam Nugaev. Jake Gutierrez, our ring announcer, will make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the advice of the ringside physician, referee Jack Reese stops this bout at 2 minutes, 39 seconds of the 5th round. The winner by TKO victory, Rustam the Mongoose Nugaev.